What's up guys, welcome back. TCG Metagame breakdown for pretty much end of March 2020, and very close to Master Rule 5, Master Rule 2020, but a past weekend Schattenspieler from a YouTuber from Germany, you might know him, a good friend, we'll leave a link in the video description, held an online tournament in the new Master Rule, so Master Rule 5 I guess we can call it now, and POST Duel Overload. So again, needle fiber and the cute stuff from Duel Overload is legal or was legal for this particular tournament. Quickly again, all the sources will be in the video description. So again, Schattenspieler, and the tournament was sponsored by Junk's Playground. Again, a fellow player from the old days. Anyway, let's move on to the top, to the breakdown, the general TCG or total metagame breakdown. As you see here, I made a pie chart with a total of 164 players. Most notable, one important thing here is that this is the whole metagame breakdown, so every deck that any player played in the tournament, in the online tournament. But most notable is that I left out the others category. So again, these were the most popular deck, most represented decks in the tournament, with Shadow, Salamangreats and Altergeist all sitting at about 15 players playing the deck, and so on. Dinosaurs, Heroes, Orcust and Lunalight, that was an interesting one because of the new Master Rule format, spamming those exceeds. You know, you might expect more Lunalights, but Nibiru is still a card, and yeah, no Azathoth, and that definitely hurts the strategy. Grand Maju, DDDs, Paleos, Magnite Invoked, and then does the others. There were about 70 other decks, but I left that out to, you know, just give like a chart that's much cleaner. Let's move down, or let's move forward to the top 16 breakdown. This is my own breakdown. As you see, we have Altergeist with 3 players indeed in the top 16 cutoff, followed by a couple of other decks being double Shadow, so 2 Shadows, 2 Grand Kaiju Dangerous, and 2 Salamangreat players. And then, as you see, a lot of diversity. We have 1 through Draco. All the lists will follow soon. 1 through Draco, 1 Spiral, which is of course expected, but I personally expected more Spirals. But it seems that Shadows is doing a little bit better, or, you know, people preferring Shadows over Spirals. That is the one of Dinosaurs, like always. Same for the one of Subterra player, the one of Pendulum player, Endymion, and then 2 others. Speaking of others, and then I'm moving to the right side here of the chart, is that both other players managed to sneak into the top 4. Well, they managed to top 4. The first deck list being, and I'll show it within the next couple of moments, is a Kaiju OTK deck. Again, list will be up soon. And which played out the finals as well against Shadows. And then the other, well, I believe it was 4th place, was like an invoked deck as well. But let's move on to the lists. Most important, we have the first place, Shadows by Dinkabui. You might know him, multiple YCS stops over here in Europe. And also the winner of, for example, from YCS Milan from a couple of years ago with Prankit, so you might know him, right, if you're not from Europe. Pure Shadows, basically, a couple of things caught my attention, huge amount of hand traps, and of course the triple super polymerization in the main deck. Dinkabui also decided to main deck the Nefe fusion, I believe the name is, the equip that also gives the ability to change the attribute of the monster, so let's say making one of your monsters light, or the targeted monster a light, right? Easy construct, I guess. Also, main decking double Dynamicicus, the Paleo, Raigeki, Break, Karma Cut. I like that. Interruption, chainable as well, and of course quite crucial. I was following a couple of the matches in the top 16 and saw that Denko Seka was huge in a lot of matchups, so side decking that, again, what we saw in the past, right, when Shadows were superb, Chaos Shadows, and siding multiple Denko Seka. Second place, that's an interesting one. One of the other quote-unquote other decks, we have like Kaiju OTK, can I call it Kaiju OTK, with a very small invoked engine, I guess, here on the top left side. And is also, this particular player is also running the Psychic Fervor, I believe the name is. It's a quick play spell card that basically doubles the attack of a particular monster you target. I think you have to sacrifice some life points as well. The main deck evenly matched, but you know, the deck is just sitting on those field spell searches. The Demise land, I believe the name is, to search out Mystic Mine, of course, triple Mystic Mine, featuring the Kaijus, and just slam down those big beat sticks. Eventually, well, beat stick, I have to say, for the big OTK. So that's cool. I definitely like this one. Ended up second place, so it definitely did a lot, since there were some big names here in this online tournament. Third place, we have a Grand Manju Danger deck. I think it speaks for itself. A lot of good cards, Upstart Goblins, 20 Upstart Goblins in the main deck featuring the Dangers, a lot of attack boosters for your Grand Manju, being the Eater of Millions, the Pot of Desires as well. Super poly, well, staple in this particular deck, right? And let's not forget, due to the new Master Rule 5, it's very easy to spam out those exceeds, and I'm looking at one of the, it's not really a new one, but I believe it's called Lubion or something like that. It's the rank 8 that lets you detach and basically special summon Titanic Galaxy or one of the other number exceeds. So interesting one, especially for the new Master Rule 5, right? Again, you're not forcing yourself to go for a Link Summon first. Let's not forget the Black Luster is also quite important, and triple Lightning Storm in the main deck. Then, the fourth place, ooh, the Spice we have invoked, but this particular player is definitely main decking a couple of options from Duel Overload, and I'm looking at Needle Fiber. I'm still calling it Needle Fiber, it's a much cooler name, Needle Fiber, right, and the Anaconda, the Predaplant link to not the Dragon invoked, well, not Dragon, the Dark Magician fusion as we are seeing in the OCG, or maybe saw because of their new ban list, but this particular player is main decking the Neos, the fusion Neos, to go for Rainbow Neos, again using Anaconda to send the materials from your deck to the graveyard. So a good one, not the, well, it's not at the same power level as you know, your Dark Magician fusion, but it's a very interesting one, fueling your graveyard, going for the fusion, and yeah, go from there with your big beat stick. So definitely a solid one. And let's not forget, Phantasme is still doing good, even though, you know, people might not prefer it because less links, etc. Then we have Celots still going strong, pretty self-explanatory build, again the Phantasmes and double Nibiru, the Snake as well, that lets you bounce a monster, Imperial Order in the main deck, but outside of that it seems very self-explanatory. No Dweller, but instead the player opted to run Bagushka in the main deck. Let's move on. Then the one-off Spiral player, as you saw, ending up top 8 here in this particular case, main decking the Wind Kaiju. But outside of that, seems like a very stable build. We're looking at the double Trishula here in the extra deck also, but well, I mean the staple side deck with the Twin Twisters, the Dark Ruler no more, and that's, well, again, it's Spirals, right? With the Magician's Souls as well. Let's move on, the last top 8 list. This is, well, can I call it an interesting one? We have True Dracos by the Adrian Dursun. You might know him. Multiple YCS tops under his belt. I don't think he has won a YCS just yet in Europe, but he has been close a couple of times. But solid player, but again, True Draco featuring Magician Souls. Personally, the first time that I see Magician Souls popping up in True Draco. You know, it's a card that, and I'm talking about Magician Souls, it might see a limitation, you know, maybe on our next list or maybe in the future, but seeing it so versatile and splashable. But okay, you're forcing yourself to play that quote-unquote brick in your main deck, so it might be justified. Let's move on to the top 16. A couple of top 16 lists very quickly. Celots, well, again, maximizing on both the trap cards, Desires as well, you know, just 40 cards flat. He's indeed running the, well, Gazelle obviously, and yeah, as I was mentioning, the triple level 4 also. The Jaguar indeed, right? But again, yeah, basically self-explanatory. Side decking the staple cards. Subterror, Guru, Control, however you want to pronounce it, again, pretty much a staple build. Side deck seems, again, pretty much staple. Phantasme, again, still quite interesting, since personally I thought that, okay, maybe Phantasme is not going to be that popular still when we are in the new Master Rule 5, but okay, maybe, you know, it's still early, so people might still prefer it. Then a couple of other guys list, I'll move through them quite quickly. Again, a lot of them are very similar, right? A couple of changes. We see the anti-spell here in the main deck, for example. Some of them are side decking it. I mean, it's Altergeist, right? Not too many changes, maybe a bit more hand traps in the main deck, but that's how it is. So Altergeist, if you are interested. Then we move along to Dinosaurs. Again, there is always that one Dinosaur player sneaking into the top 16 cutoff. Oliver Lukenda, well, again, True King Dinosaurs featuring that one of Misty Mine in the main deck, but triple Lightning Storm, triple evenly matched. Speaking of mass destruction, and going second feels quite strong. I like Dinosaurs. Who knows, with the new, what is it called, the level 1. I'm just waiting on that one. It's going to give Dinosaurs a huge boost. Then Pendulums. Pendulums got also the new link being Selene. It definitely gives Pendulums somewhat of a needed boost because of the loss of Electromite, but I mean, it's not like that big of a... Well, no, that's not true. I mean, it gives Pendulums a big boost, but losing Electromite still hurts. But again, there is always that one player that keeps sneaking into the top 16 cutoff or top 8 cutoff with Pendulums, but this time, this case, Pendulums ended up top 16. And last but not least, we have again another danger build dimension shifter here in the main deck also, but again it speaks for itself with triple desires, triple super polymerization also, and again that Draglubion, I believe the name is in the extra deck. So definitely one of the most interesting cards here when we are going into the new Master Rule mechanic. So long story short, it should also eventually should also won the event, again piloted by a strong player, so that might also be an explanation, but quite surprising. A lot of diversity, of course, since again it's super early. We are not even in the new format with that ban list. Maybe we are expecting a new ban list, who knows. Not really sure if we can expect a new TCG ban list soon, but again, who knows. But interesting one. Thanks Schattenspieler for the list. Link will be in the video description. Guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.